Hey everyone, how's it going? For today's video, let's take an up-close and personal, in-depth look at the completely redesigned, all-new second-generation 2015 Hyundai Genesis all-wheel drive. And this is going to be a detailed, in-depth review of the Genesis. We'll start it up, show the engine, get an exhaust clip, and go over the performance data, take it on a detailed test drive, and show you a bunch of the unique aspects of both the interior as well as exterior. And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and start her up. Let her run. The Genesis comes standard with a remote smart key access system so you can lock and unlock the vehicle via the silver buttons on both the driver and passenger side door handle. With the vehicle's proximity sensors, all you have to do is just make sure the key fob is in your pocket. When you approach the vehicle, it'll automatically fold out the exterior mirrors, turn on the puddle lamps, and at night, illuminate the LED illumination inside the door handle. While the vehicle is locked, to unlock, all you have to do is just press the button. You can program it to unlock all four doors at once, or just the driver's door and pressing it a second time for the rest of the doors, and that's within the vehicle's customizable settings. Otherwise, while it's unlocked, just press it once more to lock it. The mirrors automatically tilt in and you're ready to go. The puddle lamps even beam the Genesis wing onto the ground at night. This exterior color is known as Marrakesh Beige and comes paired with a beige leather interior with dark brown accenting across the dash, doors, and floor pan. This vehicle actually has the Ultra Leather package, which features upgraded seats, a little bit softer leather, perforations for the heating and cooling function, not to mention dark brown accent piping. Push-button ignition for the Genesis is standard along with that smart key access system. Just put your foot on the brake and then hit the dash-mounted button to start. The 2015 Genesis benefits from a redesigned electric variable ratio rack and pinion steering system that's more responsive than before and features a rack-mounted motor, also tied with the vehicle's sport mode, which we'll talk about in just a second. With reduced camber and tire tilt, not to mention improved front-end stiffness, the car feels more precise and direct. While in sport mode, the steering is firmed up further for more engaging driving without feeling artificial. It still exhibits minimal amount of body roll, but keep in mind the size and weight of the car. In those regards, it's quite a competent machine. It's all fed through a leather-wrapped 4-spoke steering wheel with modest grips up top, a little bit of satin bright work in the Genesis wing in the middle, amongst all of your multifunction controls. Unlike some of the competition out there, Hyundai didn't source a ZF 8-speed automatic for the Genesis application. They actually developed their own in-house 8-speed automatic that promises better performance than the previous version offered. You can shift the vehicle manually via the selector below or by the standard steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. It's all fed through a leather gear selector with satin aluminum and high-gloss black trim. Put it in reverse and a backup camera automatically appears in this larger 9.2-inch high-res display with adjustable guidance lines that adjust based on the steering. You can also change the view between top view and normal view for a little bit ease in parking. Behind the selector there are two buttons. Auto hold will hold the vehicle stationary when you come to a full stop so you don't have to continuously rest your foot on the brake while waiting for a light or traffic. The drive mode button cycles through 3 driving modes, Eco, Normal, and Sport, and is tied to the gearbox, throttle, steering, suspension, and the adaptive dampers that are exclusive to the V8 Ultimate. Eco gears the car for the best fuel economy, shifting earlier to help keep the RPMs as low as possible. It also has the lightest steering and slightly reduced throttle response, all in the name of efficiency. Normal is your day-to-day driving mode for a good balance without reduced capabilities. Sport mode, aside from the color-changing gauges, increases throttle response, raises the transmission shift points, and slightly stiffens up the electric steering. It doesn't turn it into a sports car, but it's still pretty fun to have a real sport mode in a large car that legitimately alters vehicle characteristics for those times you just feel like letting loose. With the all-wheel drive system, full throttle launches from a standstill are accompanied by no wheel spin as the wheels take grip. We'll talk about this a little bit more later in the video, but this Genesis features the lane keep and assist feature, so if you accidentally stray off to the edge of the lane, it'll actually emit a feedback through the steering wheel and gently nudge the steering the opposite way to put you back in the lane. It's definitely a pretty neat feature, it takes some getting used to. That and many other things is all routed through the excellent heads-up display. It's probably the best heads-up display system I've seen to date just because of the sheer amount of information that it packs into one screen. And the clarity, it's very easy to see at night as well. So we'll go ahead and flip on the LED accented automatic bi-xenon headlamps and the hazards. Standard on all Genesis models are fully automatic windows all the way around, with laminated glass for enhanced noise isolation. An impressive feature seen on a limited number of premium automakers is a soft open and close feature that automatically slows the glass down as it opens or closes, eliminating any excess thud created by the glass and its housing. Once you shut the door, a chime will be emitted, letting you know it's lost detection of the proximity key fob. By now, just about everyone in the automotive world is aware of the tremendous leaps and bounds Hyundai and sister company Kia have undergone to completely revamp their respective brand images, while slowly migrating into the premium sector to cater to a wider variety of clientele. When the first generation Genesis debuted for 2009, it was a groundbreaking vehicle for the company, one that paved the way for a tremendous lineup over the coming years. The Genesis boasted a premium look and feel with an impressive features list at a price well under more well-known premium brands. While it wasn't perfect, the Genesis saw great success. The two biggest areas for improvement included driving dynamics and styling that didn't really do much to make it stand out from the crowd. For 2015, the Genesis has been completely redesigned from the ground up, addressing the previous car's shortcomings while adding so much more substance to the overall platform. The Genesis starts out at $38,000 for a V6 with rear-wheel drive and $51,500 for the V8. This car we have here is every option you could tack on to the V6, including all-wheel drive and the three main option packages, Signature, Technology, and Ultimate, and rings in at $52,450, including $950 for freight and handling. At that price, it pretty much comes with just about every modern feature known to man, making it an incredible value when compared to other popular mid-sized luxury offerings. Even at $38,000, it not only boasts a significant amount of standard luxury and convenience features, but it undercuts the Cadillac CTS by $7,000, the BMW 5 Series by $11,000, and the Mercedes E-Class by $13,000 when comparing their respective entry models. Of course, it's obvious Hyundai is packing great value in their lineup, they've been doing it for quite some time now, but what really makes the Genesis the next hot contender in this market is the way it drives and looks. It's the first Hyundai to wear the next evolution of their signature design language. Dubbed Fluidic Sculpture 2.0, the Genesis styling is more restrained and benefits from new sheet metal that's mature, refined, and somewhat sporty, without overly aggressive swoops or curves. Even though there are a few carryover items, such as the available powertrains, everything has been tweaked or modified to give it a heightened sense of performance and refinement, even with the V6, which now features an available all-wheel drive system which Hyundai dubs H-Trac, a big plus for northern states. Trac gives the Genesis an electronic variable torque split clutch with active torque transfer that proportions the torque between the front and rear axles. In the standard configuration, torque is split 40% in front and 60% in the rear, but in certain scenarios, the car can send up to 90% of the available torque to either the front or rear axles as traction permits. Other powertrain changes include a revised 8-speed automatic and tweaked engines that yield a flatter torque curve and give more grunt off the line. In other words, torque increases slightly for both engines, while peak horsepower drops by 22 for the V6 and 9 for the V8 for better overall performance rather than top end. When switched into the car's sport mode, the Genesis feels more like a performance sedan. Of course, it's still on the luxury side, it has a little bit of body roll, but it's definitely a lot more edgy than the last generation. It handles well for what it is and always feels on point with the all-wheel drive system. With a new chassis that reflects a 2.9-inch longer wheelbase, weight is more evenly balanced, with 52% of it riding over the front axle. Overall length only grows by 0.2 inches. Other dimensions remain relatively similar to the first gen. The overhangs have been shortened, the hood is longer, reflected in the pushback greenhouse, which gives it a little bit more of a luxury presence. In giving the car more dynamism, Hyundai actually consulted with the handling experts at Lotus. The results include a whole host of revised components, from a 40% stiffer rear multi-link suspension, new dampers, anti-roll bars, bushings, system calibrations, engine mounts, and much more. The suspension features improved travel and firmness to retain a comfortable yet predictable ride, while new dual-mode shocks also contribute to roll resistance in the addition to the standard stability bars underneath. The structure now consists of 51% ultra-high-strength steel, compared to 13.8% in the previous car, which does work to stiffen the body by 27% and improve bending resistance by 43.2%. Even the engine compartment features a unique corner bracing that ties everything from the shock towers to the radiator and firewall together, leading to more responsive steering and making the car feel more nimble overall even though it's such a large vehicle. While the new steel sheds a modest amount of weight from the body, the new car still weighs slightly more than its predecessor, really thanks to the wealth of extra features and sound deadening throughout, not counting the extra 165 pounds for the all-wheel drive setup. As the Genesis enters its second generation, it's finally coming to its own as far as a unique, fresh, and somewhat bold styling theme. The sloping front end features a very prominent polished grille with angled LED accented headlamps and LED fog lamps. Subtle styling creases in the hood flow together to cradle the grille and wing emblem, while the single line extends from the headlamps across the sides and bisects the handles before meeting with the tail lamps. A slender piece of chrome highlights the defined upper portion of the rockers, while out back, a sportier flavor emerges. The roofline slopes back into a shorter rear deck with upswept lid, twin polished exhaust with quad tips and V8 cars, and more aggressively styled LED tail lamps. The Genesis comes standard with 18 by 8 inch wheels at each corner, with polished face and dark gray painted pockets. 19s are also available when you step it on up to the V8 model. The 18s are wrapped in 245/45 all-season rubber and able to hold upwards of 0.87 G of cornering forces. As far as the brakes, the front ventilated discs are now larger, measuring 13.6 inches and clamped by 4 piston calipers. The rear 12.4 inch solid discs carry over with single piston calipers. The setup is able to bring the car to a stop from 60 miles an hour in around 109 feet. Supporting the car is a fully independent multi-link suspension both front and rear, providing a smooth, well-controlled ride. Up underneath, all the way throughout the vehicle, you'll see these felt liners that help dampen exterior road noise, making the interior even more quiet. Overall length is 196.5 inches, with a width of 74.4 inches and a height of 58.3 inches, riding on a 118.5 inch wheelbase. Total curb weight for the all-wheel drive model is around 4,516 pounds, with non-all-wheel drive cars being a bit less.
So we're gonna pop the hood.
The Genesis can be had with either a V6 or V8 power plant. We'll discuss the V8 in just a moment. Only the V6 can be had with all-wheel drive. The all-aluminum direct-injected 3.8-liter V6 carries double overhead cams, 4 valves per cylinder, and variable intake valve timing, converting to a compression ratio of 11.5 to 1. It produces a healthy 311 horsepower at 6,000 RPM and up to 293 pound-feet of torque at 5,000 RPM. This translates to 0 to 60 times around 6.3 seconds, while reaching the quarter mile in around 14.6 seconds at 99 miles an hour. Top speed is limited to 149 miles an hour. As far as fuel economy, with a 20.3 gallon tank running on regular unleaded fuel, EPA estimates range between 16 miles to a gallon in the city and 25 on the highway. Also available is the excellent 5-liter all-aluminum Tau V8, producing 420 horsepower and 383 pound-feet of torque. It's significantly quicker with a 5-second 0 to 60 time and 13.6-second quarter mile at 105 miles an hour. Top speed is limited to 145 miles an hour. Fuel economy drops slightly with the increased performance, ranging between 15 miles to a gallon in the city and 23 on the highway. The most impressive aspects of the all-new Genesis are the many interior refinements in quality, ergonomics, and comfort. It's a relaxing environment, isolated from excess outside noise thanks to the laminated glass like we talked about earlier and improved sound deadening. For its time, the original Genesis also boasted a nicely crafted interior, offering an impressive amount of features with a premium look. Now, the Genesis feels more upscale than ever before. The majority of surfaces are finished in soft, padded material with touches of satin aluminum and available genuine matte finish open-pore wood in 3 different finishes for an extra modern touch. There are 4 overall interior color themes, including 2-tone options like you see here. Across the middle section of the door, the padded material is perforated. You have your power windows, power locks, power windows, and 2-person memory located on the driver door with storage located down below. The seats are an improved design with more padding and support to reduce fatigue on longer trips. They feature standard 12-way power adjustment, including 4-way power lumbar and standard heated seats. Ventilated seats are also available. A part of the tech package, you also get electric thigh support and adjustable side bolsters to provide more leg and lateral support respectively. When you power off the vehicle, the bolsters relax out and make entry and exit easier. Upon starting the car, they firm back up and extend to your previous desired level of support. This upgraded supple ultra leather package boasts an impressive attention to detail, now with durable double stitching, accent piping, and perforated middle portion to keep the seats ventilated. Up top, the adjustable headrests were designed to reduce whiplash in the event of an accident, while the adjustable seatbelts have a pre-safe feature that automatically draws up the slack as you begin down the road, in addition to providing an electric retract feature when you're ready to exit the vehicle. As far as safety, there are 9 standard airbags, including a driver's knee airbag. Hyundai also offers its sensory surround safety system that, if equipped, includes lane departure warning, automatic emergency braking, adaptive cruise with start-stop capabilities, emergency steering support to help avoid a front-end collision, blind spot monitoring, lane change assist, lane keep and assist that automatically corrects the steering via haptic feedback fed through the steering wheel, as well as rear cross-traffic alert. Many of those systems are then projected across the excellent heads-up display. A power tilt telescoping heated steering wheel is available, as is a full panoramic glass roof.
So let's go ahead and see if she sounds.
The Genesis comes packed with a wealth of media and infotainment options, including 2 different 900-watt Lexicon discrete Logic 7 surround sound systems. The standard system consists of a 14-speaker setup with 12-channel digital amplifier and 8-inch touchscreen display. This car features the upgraded 17-speaker system with a larger 720p high-definition 9.2-inch navigation screen that features improved graphics and a 64GB solid-state hard drive with 30GB of flexible storage and SD navigation. Other standard features include Bluetooth, HD radio, Sirius XM satellite radio, smartphone app integration, and so much more. Soft padded A-pillars with side curtain airbags. Your grip handles up top are also accented in satin brightwork. Fold down your padded visors, and you have LED lit vanity mirrors with a card holder to the right. Your rear view mirror is auto-dimming, houses a compass to the top right, and 3-position garage home link in the bottom right. The left-hand side houses your SOS emergency roadside assistance and your Blue Link command system, which I'll talk about in just a second. In the top stack, you have your microphones for the hands-free Bluetooth telephone, a padded sunglass container, and some satin brightwork coming all the way around. Your LED reading lamps are located here, and your interior lighting controls are located at the top. This particular one turns on the room lighting, which is all the lights of the interior, and this one turns it on when you open the doors. This switch right here controls your fully automatic sunshade, and the switch for your automatic sunroof is located here. There's a little bit of ambient illumination within. Slides up and out over the rear glass and pops up a little wind deflector. I just love the soft glow of the LED lighting too. Everything comes on nice and soft. Very gradual. Even those little lights right there. Now this latest version of Hyundai's Blue Link system is kind of similar to the new Kia Yuvo system available in the all-new K900. I actually like Hyundai's application a whole lot better, even though it's the same 9.2-inch screen, similar disc layout in the middle here for the main menu. Hyundai actually incorporated a touchscreen interface. It still has the rotary wheel in the center console, which I'll show you in just a second, but just as easily as you can use that, you can simply reach up and tap a particular option, so it makes getting used to it a whole lot easier than strictly being limited to the rotary dial. It's simple enough once you get used to it though. You push up, down, left, right to go between different menus and sub-menus. You can scroll it back and forth, and instead of tapping an icon on the screen, you would simply push down like enter. Around the controller you have different shortcut keys. Home is the main menu, which we're currently on. You have your hands-free Bluetooth telephone, a back button, menu button, that's some extra detailed settings within the different menus, and I'll show that in just a second. Map, destination, as well as the Blue Link interface. Your 3-stage heated and ventilated seats are located on either side, as are your parking sensor activation and heated steering wheel control. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll twist the wheel over to media, which we're currently utilizing the iPod right now. There's also internet media streaming that you can do from your phone with apps such as Pandora and Aha. Now, being that this is a hard drive based system, I think it's around 64 gigs in total if I remember correctly, you have about 30 gigabytes of music storage, so you can actually effectively use the system as a big iPod. So if we click down onto the iPod screen, you have album artwork powered by Grace Note, utilizing the wheel in the middle. If you just push straight down, you can play, pause, clicking back and forth will do your track selection, and then holding the wheel, either left or right, will correspond to your fast forward and rewind functions. You can shuffle, repeat songs, click the wheel up to go up to the top options, listing the tracks, such as playlists, basically all of the typical iPod features. To activate the menu for some detailed features, you can always click up or hit the menu button shortcut key on the center stack like I showed you a second ago. You can always visit the home screen via the button up there or the shortcut key. Sirius XM satellite radio is standard. You have all of your preset stations to the left that you can use the wheel and scroll through. If you click it to the right, you can manual tune, shows all of your artist, song, category information, and you can also pause and rewind live radio with the hard drive based system, so if you want to listen to a song's part again, you can always double back. Click it all the way up top and you can go between the different radio modes, tag songs, list the available stations, as well as categories. And again, you have the menu button right here, or you can use the shortcut key to bring up the channel list, preset scans, direct tune, sound settings such as balance and fade, your equalizer, surround sound, and more. Your regular radio is set up in a similar fashion that your satellite radio is. You do have presets here and standard HD radio. So we'll go ahead and scroll on over to navigation. Like I said, the high-res display is in 720p HD, so it's a nice crisp display. You do have real-time traffic updates, all of your typical navigation controls to the left, clock up top, and if you hit the menu button, it'll bring up your destination input, traffic updates, and extra settings.
or you can always hit the nav button in the middle to bring up your destination input and settings. With SiriusXM data, you have real-time weather updates, extended forecasts, traffic updates, local fuel prices, stocks, and sports, not to mention movie listings. Your hands-free Bluetooth telephone, it'll automatically ask you to pair it if you don't have one already connected, and you can voice dial, store contacts, and more. System settings. Within the settings, there's also tutorials to learn how to use specific features of the vehicle. You have your voice recognition, and the owner's manual is actually loaded onto the system as well. Pretty nifty.
The 2015 Genesis is the first Hyundai vehicle to debut the second-generation BlueLink system. With it, you get features such as Google Destination Search, automatic collision notification with emergency roadside assistance, voice text messaging, and the Genesis Intelligent Assistant app. The app proactively sends vehicle data and recommendations to the owner's smartphone. You have remote start, lock and unlock abilities, journey information, and vehicle diagnostics all at the touch of a finger. Even notifications to start your vehicle on hot or cold days, making sure the car is properly prepared for your next trip. Many of these features are also available and compatible with Google Glass. You can also access apps and other vehicle diagnostic features within the vehicle screen as you see here. So in a nutshell, those are all the basic features of the BlueLink system in the 2015 Hyundai Genesis. As we continue down the center console, you have your standard dual-zone electronic automatic climate control with temperature adjustments on either side, front and rear defrost with heated side view mirrors. The side view mirrors are also auto-dimming, fan speed, independent zone adjustments for either side, syncing, one-touch automatic, and recycling. If you hit the little climate button right here, it also brings up more detailed climate information where you can see the path of air flowing through the vehicle. In between the climate controls, you also have an elegant analog clock illuminated by LEDs. Down below that is your in-dash CD player with your radio volume, tune off to the far right, and some extra shortcut keys for the different media options, accessing your map and voice, and seek and track. If you turn the screen off at any point, you can always hit this display button to the right-hand side of the CD drive to black the screen out. Continuing down the center console, this whole section right here is aluminum with a nice cold touch that gives a little bit of extra feel of quality. Up front here is a little storage compartment that houses your auxiliary, USB, and or iPod integration, and two 12-volt power outlets. Two cup holders, in two different sizes, and a split center console, lined in velour, with a removable storage tray, and a good amount of space. When the headlights are on, there's also some LED illumination that'll brighten up. Some double-stitched padded trim blend into the padded center console. As far as the steering wheel, on the right-hand side you have your cruise control and adaptive cruise settings with this button right here, so you can set the distance between you and the car in front of you going down the highway. Your driver info system controls are located here, this particular one going through the different main menus, and this toggle wheel going through the sub-menus. Digital speed readout, navigation commands, your lane departure or lane keep and assist, media, settings, and personalizable options. All of your radio controls, hands-free telephone, voice commands are located on the left-hand side.
Please say a command after the beep.
Help.
Here are some of the available commands. Please say or select the content on the screen.
Radio.
Here are some radio commands. Please say or select the content on the screen.
Exit.
Exiting voice recognition.
The stalk to the right houses your automatic rain-sensing windshield wipers, and all of your lighting controls, high beams, and turn signals to the left. Compared to the first generation Genesis, the second generation really takes quality up to the next level. Let's go ahead and shut her down. And we'll check out the back seat. In back, Hyundai provides a spacious, relaxing environment for passengers. The build quality and materials continue to be top-notch with padded materials across the door, the perforated trim, wood, and satin aluminum, with seats that surround you in a plethora of leather and actually seem a little bit more padded than the front. With the ultra leather package, the color accent piping continues with perforated surfaces. The rear seats are also heated. For extra privacy, manual sunshades can be extended across the doors, with the power rear shade also being able to be activated from the center console. You do have a little bit of extra storage space in the bottom of each door panel. The Genesis can seat up to 5 people with 3 adjustable headrests in the rear. We'll talk a little bit more about rear seat room in just a second. The available panoramic roof also lets in a lot more natural light into the interior. In the back, of course, you do have side curtain airbags, as well as rear quarter windows helping aid in visibility.
Climbing into the back of the Genesis is also pretty easy. Nice wide door opening, relatively formal roofline as you come across. And the doors in the back, just like the front, evoke a nice solid feel. Like I said a second ago, one of the biggest improvements for the back seat was the increase in rear seat legroom thanks to the longer wheelbase. So accommodations are quite nice, especially for taller people. The comfort isn't too bad either. These seats are extremely soft. The supple leather, wonderful padding coming across your back and supporting your upper back, and even a little bit of lateral side bolsters. Not too bad. As far as overall interior space, I'm around 5'11", with a comfortable seating position for myself up front. I probably have about 4 inches of legroom and maybe 2 inches or so of headroom. The nice thing about what Hyundai did back here is even though it has the sunroof, so typically with sunroofs the headliner sits a little lower, they cut out the back portion here, giving you a lot more wiggle room for your head. 2 air registers down below, keeping everything nice and ventilated, storage pockets on the back of the seats, coat hooks on the B-pillar, you have an extra set of coat hooks up top here with grip handles, and your LED reading lamps. You can sit 3 people back here and probably relatively comfortable unless they're like large full-size adults. The drivetrain hump isn't too high, but it is broad, so in a pinch you can put your feet right on top of there and just kind of hug your knees a little bit. Fold down the large center console, plenty of padded surfaces. You have 2 cup holders here, 3-stage heated seats for both sides, and a control for your power rear sunshade. If you need a little bit of extra storage space, these seats don't fold down 60-40 split or anything like that, but you do have a trunk pass-through that you can fold down to stick like skis or poles or something else through there. Honestly, this back seat is extremely comfortable. With combination of the support across the sides and up top, the extra padding, this could be something that you can really kick back and relax in, I think, if you're hauling a few people around on a trip. There's not a whole lot of hardware into the seats, even though the bottom portion comes down a little bit, so you can still stretch out a little bit. Not quite as much as like a K900 or an Equus, but you kind of get the picture. Really a great job overall. Let's go ahead and check out the rest of the vehicle, shall we?
Along with the standard smart key system like we talked about earlier, the Genesis also comes standard with a hands-free smart trunk. Ignore my foot gestures, there's no need to wave or kick your foot underneath as long as it detects you. Simply stand within 3 feet of it for at least 3 seconds. As long as you have the key in your pocket, the car then takes care of the rest. It's more convenient than having to perform some foot gesture underneath like some other similar systems. A good point to remember, it won't simply open every time you walk by it. The car must sense you standing there for at least 3 seconds before it performs the action. Once open, you have 15.3 cubic feet of cargo space, which is pretty respectable for the class. Cargo tie-downs down below, everything's lined in carpet, and the trunk arms are nicely hidden from view so they don't impede on your cargo. Lift up on the trunk floor, and you have your temporary spare tire and battery mounted in the back.
The passenger seat features similar adjustments that you would find on the driver's seat, including 4-way power lumbar, but it lacks the extra side bolstering adjustment and thigh support. The glove box is locking. It has a pretty good amount of space overall, LED lit with a velour lining.
While Hyundai and Kia are still relatively new to the luxury segment, the Genesis is a marvelous offering for the class. With an impressive feature-laden standard options list, good performance, stellar build quality, and a quiet cabin, as with their other popular offerings, it offers one of the best values in the segment.